Today, we're setting the GPS for a country where ancient history, extreme geography, and just intense tradition, they don't just coexist.
No, they collide.
They really do, spectacularly. We are talking about Hungary. This is a place that, based on our sources, is just so unique. It's the only place where you can be, say, bathing in 1,000-year-old thermal water while drinking a 500-year-old red wine.
From a grape that they literally say bleeds.
It actually weeps red juice. It's amazing.
It's a truly singular place, and our mission for this deep dive is really specific. We aren't just creating a tourist itinerary.
Right, this isn't a checklist.
No, we're trying to extract the most surprising, the most essential experiences, the things that really define the national spirit and, exist nowhere else on Earth.
So we're going from hidden caves to secret recipes.
From high-speed cavalry charges to these chaotic village dance parties, it's a huge range.
That feels like we're hunting for the national soul of Hungary. And if we're going to find it, I think we have to start with the most foundational element of the whole country.
That has to be the water.
Water. Because in Budapest, and really across the whole Hungarian plain, water isn't just a resource. It feels more like a living, steaming connection to the past.
Exactly. Hungary sits on this colossal thermal spring system. It's a natural resource they've been using for centuries, and you can see it most clearly in the 16th century thermal baths.
Ones in Budapest, like Rudis or Kirali.
Precisely.
I love that we can talk about the history of a place you can still physically go and immerse yourself in. And we were talking about soaking in water that's, 36 to 42 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, pretty hot. And you're doing it under an enormous Ottoman dome.
A dome that was built in 1565.
That detail is just crucial. You aren't just in an old building. You are sitting in the exact spot where Ottoman pashas once sat.
Plotting military campaigns against Europe.
Plotting wars. The steam has been rising from those same springs, creating that same heavy atmospheric air for over 4.5 centuries. It's an unbroken chain.
That you can literally soak into your skin.
It's a powerful image.
It really is.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder what conversations those walls have heard. But the thermal experience, it doesn't stop with architecture in the city. We have to talk about the natural wonder of Lake Haviz.
Lake Haviz is a geographical anomaly. It is Europe's only natural thermal lake. It's the second largest in the world.
How big are we talking?
It covers 4.4 hectares, and it constantly refreshes itself, maintaining this naturally warm temperature of about 38 degrees Celsius all year.
The images from Haviz are pure magic. The water is covered in these pink and white Indian lotus flowers. But here's the crazy part.
The winter.
The winter. Imagine you're there in January, swimming in this warm, steaming water.
And snow is gently falling onto those tropical water lilies floating right next to you.
It's just an unbelievable contrast.
And that contrast captures the essence of Hungarian extremes. But that same thermal activity that drives the lakes, it also shaped the very earth underneath Budapest.
Right, the caves.
The city sits on top of a 120-kilometer labyrinth of thermal caves.
Wait. Climbing through caves that are right underneath residential neighborhoods, is that really as wild as it sounds?
It's highly regulated, but it's incredibly accessible. We're talking about the Póvolzsi-Matyás-hegyi system specifically. Yeah. It's 31 kilometers long.
So you can actually do this?
Oh, yeah. The sources say you can put on a jumpsuit, a helmet with a headlamp, and spend hours crawling and climbing through passages formed 40 million years ago.
Directly beneath the city's quiet suburbs. 40 million years. That's staggering. And that geology, it extends right into their culinary traditions, doesn't it?
It's a perfect transition because that deep history takes us straight into the cellar. Let's talk about that infamous red wine, Égri Békever.
Which translates to bull's blood.
Bull's blood.
This wine is a powerhouse, both in flavor and, in the story behind it. What makes it so specifically Hungarian?
So for a wine to legally be called Égri Békever, it has to follow these extremely strict rules. It has to be a blend of at least 4 different local grapes. And crucially, it must be aged in huge oak barrels stored deep inside volcanic tuff cellars.
Carved into the hills right under the castle of Eger.
Exactly. That volcanic earth gives it this completely distinct mineral profile.
And the legend behind that name is just fantastic.
The Siege of Eger in 1552.
Right. The Hungarian defenders held off this massive Ottoman army, and the story goes that the Turks thought the Hungarians were winning because they were secretly drinking actual bull's blood.
To gain strength, it's this perfect merger of...
You will experience that tradition.
You can. The recommendation is to go taste it straight from the barrel in Szép-Volgy, the Valley of the Beautiful Women.
Okay, so we have the big, bold, historic red. But Hungary doesn't stop there. It also goes to the complete other extreme of delicacy with Tokaj ice wine.
It's a remarkable testament to patience and extreme geography. It requires very specific, very frigid conditions.
How cold are we talking?
It's made from ferment grapes that are left on the vine until January. The temperature has to drop below -8 or -9 degrees Celsius.
Wow, what does that do to the grape?
The water inside the berry freezes solid, but the sugars and the acids don't. So they hand harvest these frozen berries and press them immediately while they're still basically ice blocks.
So the juice must be incredibly concentrated.
Incredibly. And rare. Our sources stress this. One single vine yields only enough juice for a single glass of wine.
That is the definition of liquid gold. Okay, we've gone from ancient baths to rare cellar wines. Let's shift from high culture to late-night street chaos, because if you're in Budapest, you're going to end up in a ruin bar.
The ruin pubs are Budapest's great modern invention. It started with Simplakert back in 2002.
And the concept is they took these crumbling pre-war buildings.
Often buildings slated for demolition, yeah.
And instead of fixing them up, they just filled them with junk.
Well, found objects and art. It's not just the theme, it's an entire atmosphere. You're sitting on a broken bathtub.
Or inside an old East German Trabant car that's just parked inside the pub.
Exactly. It is controlled, chaotic mayhem, sensory overload. It smells like history and cheap beer and, 1,000 creative decisions happening at once.
A rebellion against slickness.
Totally.
And after you stumble out of that artistic mayhem at 4 in the morning, you need the perfect Hungarian cure.
Which brings us to langos.
The ultimate late-night snack.
It's a flatbread, deep fried until it's crisp and golden. And then, traditionally, it's slathered with garlic oil, piled high with sour cream.
And a ton of grated cheese. It just sounds so decadent and comforting.
But maybe the most culturally intense culinary tradition we found goes way beyond comfort food. It's a full-on social ritual.
The Disnovagus.
The traditional pig slaughter.
Now, this sounds incredibly intense, but the sources present it as this major communal celebration, right? Usually in February.
It is intensely social. The pig is humanely killed at sunrise, and then the entire community just springs into action.
Zero waste philosophy.
Absolutely. Within hours, everything is turned into fresh crackling sausages, herka, that's a liver or rice sausage, and toros kapusta.
A spicy sausage and cabbage stew. So the whole day is structured.
Extremely. The men drink Barak Palinka, that powerful apricot brandy, to stay warm. The women sing old songs and handle all the prep. And by 8 a.m., everyone gathers to eat the piping hot toros kapusta for breakfast.
It's this centuries-old event that just links everyone together, that intensity. It moves effortlessly from the kitchen right out onto the vast open plains.
Let's talk about the Sikos cowboys.
The famed Hungarian horsemen of the UNESCO-listed Hortobágy Puszta steppe.
Right, the Puszta is one of the largest natural grasslands in Europe. And these riders were historically essential for managing these enormous herds.
And they are magnificent to watch. They wear these striking blue cloaks, and the most famous feat is the Puszta 5.
The Puszta 5 it's breathtaking. The rider stands upright on the backs of 2 galloping horses. Standing up, while simultaneously controlling 3 more horses tied in front of them, all at a full gallop.
5 horses at full gallop with 1 person standing on them. The margin for error must be 0. Is this just showmanship now?
It was born of necessity. They needed ways to move massive herds across this trackless plain. Now it's mastery perfected into a spectacle.
And the experience usually ends with a meal.
A carriage ride to a traditional sarda, an inn for goose crackling and fiery palinka, all while you're looking up at a sky so huge you can literally see weather coming 3 days away.
That grand spectacle is matched by a completely different participatory tradition, the tanchas.
The dance house, yes. Also UNESCO listed.
And the key distinction here is that it's not a performance you watch.
No, it's a social revolution you join. You find these gatherings with village musicians playing violin in the cymbalum.
That's that hammered dulcimer sound.
Right. And the teachers aren't professionals. They're often 80-year-old women in embroidered skirts who teach perfect strangers these lightning-fast dances.
The shardas and the litanies.
The moves are furious and complicated. But there's no choreography, no audience.
Just sweat, dust, and dancing until the sun comes up. Pure chaotic joy.
It is. But for a completely different kind of national precision, we have to pivot from chaos to order.
The children's railway. This is one of my favorite details.
It's an 11.2-kilometer narrow-gauge railway in the Buda Hills, a piece of post-war nostalgia.
But with a twist that makes it uniquely Hungarian.
The twist is that, excluding the driver, the entire operation is run by children.
Kids between 10 and 14, all in crisp uniforms. And they do everything.
Everything. They sell the tickets, wave the flags, manage the passengers, and announce the stations over the loudspeaker with what our sources specifically call military precision.
That is such a unique blend of discipline and charm.
It really is. And if you are looking to bring a piece of that intense Hungarian spirit home, our final section is a rapid-fire review of the non-negotiable treasures.
Let's start with the essential secret beverages. Unicum.
The famous bitter herbal liqueur. The recipe has been locked in a safe since 1790. Over 40 herbs, aged in plum barrels. They call it Hungary in a bottle.
Medicinal, potent. Then there's the more convivial spirit.
Baroque Palinka, the high-proof apricot brandy. It's usually around 50% alcohol, and our sources note that it tastes like pure concentrated summer, not just some artificial flavoring.
A proper, fierce digestive. And for crafts.
Hand-embroidered kalocha or Mathieu folk art. The flowers are so brightly colored and dense they almost seem to hurt your eyes. And of course, Heron porcelain, hand-painted with 24-karat gold since Queen Victoria ordered her set.
And you can't leave without salami.
Specifically, pick salami from Szeged or Gyula, paprika-cured, air-dried, and it has this distinguished, noble gray-white mold. A true delicacy.
So what does this all mean for you, the learner? It means Hungary is small, fierce, traditional, and, yeah, slightly mad in the absolute best way.
The advice is to visit in September for the new wine and goose festivals, or if you're feeling adventurous, February for thermal ice swimming and those wild pig parties.
So you need an appetite for paprika and a willingness to be thrown into these centuries-old traditions.
What an incredible journey. From plodding pashas and steam baths to cowboys standing on 5 horses at once.
We covered the thermal caves, the bull's blood wine, the chaotic beauty of the ruined bars, and the strict, adorable discipline of the children's railway.
It's a country defined by that blend of extremes. We've seen the sheer intensity it takes to maintain these ancient traditions. So this raises a final question for you, the listener, to consider.
Okay.
Given Hungary's blend of ancient ritual and modern chaos, which experience best encapsulates the true national spirit, is it the disciplined military precision of the children's railway where every child follows the rules perfectly?
Right.
Or is it the pure, chaotic, hard-on-your-sleeve joy of the tanchas just dancing until dawn?
A fascinating paradox right at the heart of the country. Go explore these singular traditions for yourself. Thank you for diving deep with us.